Can you walk us through the remodeling process with LMG, like from consultation all the way to the finished project?
Absolutely. So the first meeting typically happens in the office. And the reason being is, I would love to do business with everyone. But the truth is there are some projects that we may not be a good fit for. So I think it's super important for both the professional and the consumer to see if we're a right fit for each other. So the first thing is to just sit and chat for maybe like a 20 or 30-minute meeting. Okay. Kind of get a sense of what products you're looking for, timeline, budget, which is often very difficult to get the answer to that question. And rightfully so, because if you're not in the industry, you have no idea of knowing, what things may cost. But once we kind of go through that process, we start to go through our offerings and try and determine what line can best meet your needs, whether it be a certain color, a certain finish, or even just budgetary concerns. If all of that adds up and we're going in the right direction, then we'll go ahead and schedule a site visit. A site visit is either myself or someone on our team. We'll go to site. We'll document existing conditions. We'll document existing dimensions. We'll also kind of do a walkthrough of the adjacent spaces in the kitchen to kind of, because we're in a very open concept world today. So really seeing how the rest of your home is laid out and materials and kind of your design language, I think is also a big part. From there, we'll go back to the office. We'll generate anywhere from 1 or 2 designs, depending on the project. And then we'll call the customer in to review. And that's when we start picking it apart. And that's one of my favorite times because I often tell people, please be brutally honest. If you hate something, tell me. You love it, tell me. Because at the end of the day, the only important part is to deliver on what the customer's looking for.
Right.
Everything else is secondary.
You don't want to get halfway into it and have to change something up because they're like, oh, that doesn't work for me. Let's do something different.
Correct. And too often what I found early on is when we don't invest a lot of time initially, when we don't take that 20, 30-minute conversation, when we don't explore that other layout, it actually becomes very difficult for the customer to make decisions because they don't feel like they've gone full circle in kind of reviewing what's out there.
Right.
So, there's times my first meeting, could be 2 to 3 hours. And I know it sounds crazy, but that 2 or 3 hour meeting avoids 3 other appointments in the future. So investing that time really makes for a much, much smoother process.
Okay. So in regards to some of those common challenges that homeowners face during the renovations, how do you help them through that?
Look, the truth is renovating your kitchen is very hard. It truly is because it's very difficult to be with a kitchen sink. I've gotten pictures from customers, washing chicken cutlets in a vanity sink, as crazy as that sounds. So in that aspect, the only thing we can do is if the property allows for it, we'll kind of set up a mock-up little kitchen, a mock-up little counter. Even just to have a little coffee station, during renovation can be a huge, kind of giving you some of that home vibe while you're living through this process because the entire main floor is under construction. So it's very difficult to live through. It truly is.
So can you share with us one of your favorite transformations, a before and after story that stood out to you?
Sure. One of the projects that I often refer back to is a project in Farmingdale. When you entered the space, the kitchen was right off to the right-hand side, and it was roughly 10 by 15 feet, so a decent size. But this customer went out, and I think they did a 10-foot extension off the back. Okay. So we extended the kitchen about another 15 feet. We did a 60-inch diameter round breakfast nook table with a little bar off to the side with a television and some floating shelves. We rearranged the entire living room, brought it to the other side of the house, put some windows in the back. It's a completely different home, and being part of that just is great.
I imagine that looks awesome.
Yeah, it turned out gorgeous.
Just hearing how you're describing it.
It turned out gorgeous. I think, if I'm not mistaken, their island was 10.5 feet when we were done. Yeah, she had a big family, and they love to entertain, and that's right up my alley.